Brooklyn Knitfolk podcast. My name is Jaclyn. This is episode number 55. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as @Jaclyn Salem. And as always, I'm so happy that you are taking some time to chat with me about all things knitting and sewing and whatever crafty adventures I get up to and show you on this podcast. It has been a month. Mostly because it's my birthday, or not today, but it was my birthday a couple weeks ago, and so I've just been so busy with birthday stuff. I made a very extravagant birthday outfit that you may or may not have seen on Instagram. I cannot wait to share it with you. So let's just jump into the content, but I really wanted to mention very quickly, I've been very inspired by Kristen of the Yarngasm podcast and of Woolen Vine Yarns to up my game when it comes to camera stuff. So we'll see if this can be a permanent setup or not, but if you guys like it, do let me know. So I'm recording with a different camera and I'm in I wouldn't call it my sewing room because it's literally my bedroom, but it is my sewing space. So I think that's kind of fun, right? So anyway, yes, let's get on with the podcast. So the first thing I want to show you is a new project. I showed you the yarn in the previous episode, and it is the John Arbon Textiles Harvest Hues, and it's in the shade, oh my gosh, what is the name of this color that they sent me? They have a whole new range of colors coming out on September 20th, but this one is part of the older crew. What is the colorway called? Is it barley maybe? I'm sorry, I can't remember, but here's the yarn. It's gorgeous. Love, love, love this. It's got so many different colors within the same color yarn. So, I mean, it's overall kind of like this goldenrod color, but it has like flecks of red and some green. It is a truly stunning yarn, and so I had to cast it on right away. So I finished one sock. And I've started on the second one, which is exciting. So this is a design, I guess, mostly just because I made it up. And I'm not sure if this is one I'll publish or not. If there's enough interest, then maybe I will. It's a nice long leg. This is going to be my ultimate cozy sock. Is it gonna focus? Sorry, getting used to this camera. We'll see how it goes. It also looks like it's going to be really dark footage on here, but we will see. There is a kind of broken rib in the back. Focus! A broken rib in the back. And then in the front, this kind of, I don't know how to describe this motif honestly, but it's all knits and purls, so it's really, really simple. But it's going to be so cozy in fall and winter. I cannot wait to wear these. They're so, the yarn is rustic without being scratchy. It really is a perfect yarn. I would highly recommend. I will definitely be repurchasing this immediately. It would make great gift socks. Yes, so obsessed, especially with their colors. If you're an autumnal hues person, definitely get on this. So that's just a little design I've been working on. And then I needed a Rhinebeck sweater, and I needed something that was going to be quick to knit up. So the Weekender it is. The Weekender is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. It's a pullover sweater, and she knit her sample in Brooklyn Tweed's marled yarns. I forget what they're called, but she knit hers in the newsprint colorway, and it's just a black and white. The yarn that I'm using is what I affectionately refer to as nun spun. I got it at the Washington County Farm and Fiber Tour last April, and it is a plied 2 colors of Jacob fleece, so one dark fleece and one light fleece, and it makes this marl yarn. But the yarn is incredibly, it's beautiful, but very inconsistent and not perfect. Like sometimes the marl isn't even present. So I am kind of worried about how it was going to knit up, but this pattern is actually really great for hiding imperfections in things. So there are stretches where there are like just white, and it's easy to see it in the ribbing portion of it, but once you get into the body of the sweater, the purl side, it's knit inside out, so it's all purl or all knitting in the round, which is great, but it's knit inside out, so you're supposed to flip it inside out, and eventually this is the right side. The purl side is the right side. So the purl side really hides imperfections of the yarn, so it was honestly the best pattern I could have hoped for with this yarn if I was going to make a garment out of it. And obviously because it's stockinette in the round, it's just so fast, so it's knitting up quickly. My problem is, like, I have so many wonderful projects right now that my motivation to work on this is extremely low. Like, the only reason I'm knitting on this so much is because I want a Rhinebeck sweater. So we'll see if it actually gets done. Like, first and foremost, I just want to make stuff that I am interested in making. So that's like priority number one. But I have been knitting on this on the subway. We will see if it gets finished in time for Rhinebeck. All of the skeins that I have are very different from one another, so I kind of laid them out and ordered them from darkest to lightest, and I'm alternating skeins, and I'm alternating the darkest and the lightest with one another, and so I'm hoping that gradually when it gets to the middle ones where it's a more consistently marled yarn, that it will look same when it's all knit up into the sweater. But I definitely recommend this pattern. Like I said, it's knitting up so fast because it's a worsted weight pattern. And I did have to drop a needle size to get gauged, but that's pretty typical for my knitting because I'm a looser knitter. And it's just kind of in this tote bag that I got from this shop called Flying Tiger in New York, which I think Tiger is also abroad. Alright, that's really it for the knitting content right now that I'm working on, just the socks and the sweater. I do have other knitting projects that I have not been working on that I should be working on, like cough cough my mom's socks. I'm sorry, I really am trying, like, you know, who knows? It will get done, it will eventually get done, but I just kind of want to craft where the wind takes me, if you will. And lately that has been meaning a lot of sewing. So, the birthday outfit. I die, honestly. It's just like a dream come true working with this silk. So I don't know if I actually had the silk on the previous episode or not, but I went to the garment district to what we affectionately refer to as Janky Store, and its actual name is HM Fabrics. Anyway, they're having a closing sale right now, and I say closing with air quotes because apparently they close a lot just to get rid of a bunch of stock, but hey, you know, whatever means getting insane deals on fabric. I got 1 yard, I think I purchased, of 100% silk in this kind of coppery blush color for $10, so that was a real bargain. But I'm in love with this color. Ugh, I love it so much. It's so soft. Working with silk was definitely a challenge for me. It was the first time I had ever done it. I crowdsourced tips on Instagram asking what are your best silk sewing tips, and I compiled all of the things I heard into a thread in my Ravelry group. So if you've never sewn with silk before and you want to try it and want some tips, I loved the tips that I got from you guys. It was super helpful, especially the one where you take pieces of tissue paper and sandwich your fabric between the tissue paper and then cut it out with the tissue paper sandwich. It made it so easy to cut out this really slippery fabric. I think really someone who just like hit the nail on the head that you just go slower than molasses in winter. Like everything with silk takes like 5 times longer than working with any other kind of fabric, but the results are so worth it in the end. Like, it's worth all the extra time and effort that you put into it. So if I haven't already, I'll insert some pictures of what this bodice looked like. I kept showing you guys pictures of the bodice in progress without the bodysuit bottom attached to it, and this bodysuit bottom is kind of a take on the Netty bodysuit by Closet Case Patterns, I believe. I just kind of recut the bottom so that it was more into like a thong shape, which is an underwear style that I prefer and find more comfortable. And yeah, it worked out really well. I still have not added the leg bands to the leg openings. I still need to do that, but I was on a time crunch when I was finishing this. I had the bodice finished for a whole week, but I just didn't add the bodysuit bottom to it yet. So I'm gonna lace it up real quick so I can show you in more detail. So the pattern that I used for this bodice is Simplicity 8635, and it's part of this jumpsuit collection, if you will, and I only used the bodice pieces, knowing that I would attach the bodysuit bottom to it. And I think it turned out really well. I laced it up for you. It's kind of hard to see when it's like this and not on a body, but you get the general idea. I will say you definitely, if you are interested in making this project, you'll definitely need a loop turner, which I have handy. It's kind of a funny story how I got it, but this is Julie's loop turner that I've never returned to her, basically, since she let me borrow it. But yes, this is a loop turner. It has this little hook on the end of it. Don't know if you're gonna be able to see that. This little hook on the end of it. You sew kind of like a tube and then thread this through that tube and then pull it inside out with this little hook piece. So you definitely need a loop turner for this project because the loops, or the straps, are so thin. And it's actually fairly easy to turn these loops compared to other projects with even wider straps because the silk is so slippery that it made it super easy to just kind of turn them inside out. So this has been washed since I wore it on my birthday because many a drink spillage has occurred. And so it actually looks great. I'm really pleased about how it looks post-washing because I was kind of nervous about that with it being silk. I know water can do weird things to it. So I didn't dry clean it or anything. I just like sent it straight through the washer and told them to hang dry it instead of putting it in the dryer. And there's some fraying that's occurring right here where I've attached the bodysuit portion because I didn't finish off those seams. Again, I just didn't have time yet. So I will overlock those eventually. But if you see any stray threads, that's kind of where it comes from. And so the bodice is lined. I lined it in the same fabric, the same silk fabric, and it's composed of 3 pieces, I believe. Yes, 3 pieces. Has bust darts for shaping along the side and down to the waist. So it's a really great fit, kind of a gentle scoop neck. Looks super nice on. I really love the finished result. Yep, so very proud of this bodysuit, and it's just like such a gorgeous piece of clothing to have in my wardrobe, right? All right, and then the skirt. So again, I can't remember if I already had the fabric last time that I recorded a podcast episode, but this insane embroidered mesh fabric. It's embroidered with these birds on it. It's amazing, and I made a skirt out of it. So I used a pattern that I've already made, my square neck crisscross back dress, the McCall's M6955, and I love how the skirt fits and flows, and I thought it would be perfect for this to get like the fullest skirt I could possibly get. And so I used the skirt pattern pieces from this McCall's pattern and then attached a waistband by measuring the waist, adding a mesh layer on top of, oh sorry I didn't show you, the bottom is just a solid like cotton navy, so nothing like too fancy. It just wanted it to be simple to let the birds really shine. So I cut a waistband that was, the finished size would be 1 inch, so I think I cut it, I can't remember, I added seam allowance or whatever, I can't exactly remember what I cut, but basically just like a long rectangle, covered it with the mesh, and then attached it using my serger. Focus! Well, sorry, whatever. You know what a serger looks like. I'm not used to this camera, so sorry. But yes, attached the waistband and then inserted a navy zipper, and this is the final skirt. It's so flowy and fun, and I love this skirt. It was the perfect birthday outfit. So now I'm 30, I entered the new decade in style, I feel, with something really special. And I'm glad that I made them as separates rather than as a dress, because either one of these on their own I would feel comfortable, definitely feel comfortable wearing again, but as a dress it's like a little over the top, a little extra, if you will. So I will definitely wear this with, you know, jeans or something on a night going out, and I could wear this with just like a simple, you know, solid colored top or a striped top or something like that. Like even, yes, the shirt that I have on my floor right here, I think it would look great with just like a striped top. So really glad that I made this, so proud of it, and it was so fun to wear it on my birthday night. Okay, and then one last sewing project that I want to talk to you about is a current work in progress, and I'm not going to bring all the pieces in here because it's a coat and they're really big and kind of unwieldy. They're just, you know, really big. So I brought some materials though to show you. I'm making the Oslo coat by Tessuti Fabrics. I have some thoughts about the pattern itself, namely like the graphic design of it. I've talked about it in my Instagram stories quite extensively. If you don't already know, on Instagram I do kind of like sewing a pattern from start to finish and kind of my process for how I do that, and I normally save all the projects that I make in my stories highlights on my profile, so you can always go back and look at them. But for this Oslo coat pattern, it's like a handwritten font. Maybe it actually is handwritten, I don't know, but it looks, it's a very consistently, like the T's all look the same across the board. So it's like a handwritten font for everything. The lines on the pattern, typically in a sewing pattern, each size has a different type of line. So like the size X will be dotted and size Y will be dashed and size, you know, whatever will be dot dash. So it makes it easy to follow the size that you're cutting out as you're cutting. But all of the lines for every single size in this particular Tessuti Fabrics pattern, I don't know if that's the case for every Tessuti fabric pattern, but all the lines are the same weight, like they look exactly the same. And so I wasn't really in love with that. The font, like I said, that they're using, they use that handwritten font for everything, and I really do feel like the information should just be like as clear as possible. So just like a basic, you know, basic font that we're used to reading and not having to like get confused about fonts. I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite. But so far after, I mean, other than that, you know, like I said, that's not a big deal. It's just like things that I'm thinking about as I'm, you know, making the pattern. And so all of my pieces are cut out. There's probably around 25 pieces total, so there's quite a few for a coat pattern that looks so simple. But there's of course like the lining pieces and the main fabric pieces and interfacing pieces, so it's quite a bit. But the fabric itself, so special. It's this camel colored cashmere wool, and it is so soft, like so luxe. I cannot even believe the deal I got in this, again from what we affectionately refer to as Janky Store in the Garment District. They sold me I think 3 yards for $50 for 100% cashmere wool, which is insane. And so I was just like petting it my entire subway ride home. So I just want a really classic coat, and I think that the Oslo coat is just a super simple coat that I can wear for years to come. It's not, I feel like, not going to go out of style. I'm more of a classics kind of girl, and of course the camel color is classic. Also on trend this season though, but it never goes out of style. And then for the lining, because I couldn't just get some like cheap lining when I had 100% cashmere wool for the main body of the coat, I bought this silk crepe de chine in this kind of eggplant maroony color, which I love. I am obsessed with this. You see it in the light there? Ugh. It's so pretty and so soft. I love it. The combo, it makes my heart sing. So right now I am interfacing the pieces. And if you don't know what interfacing is, I'm kind of, like I said, I've only been sewing for garments at least for like the past 2.5 years. I've been sewing quilts since I was like 8 years old, but clothing only for the past 2.5 years. So I'm sort of just learning. But interfacing, as I understand it, is kind of like a fabric reinforcer. So anywhere where there is stress put on a garment, like a button placket, or where you need additional structure, like a collar, which I think this is what this piece is, I can't remember, but I think this is the back collar. So anywhere where you need to add additional structure or support in a garment is where you will interface things. And I'll be honest, where it tells me to interface things in previous garments that I've made, I didn't do it, which is not a good habit. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but it's not fallen apart yet. But I'm figuring if I'm spending, some dollars on these like really nice materials and I want them to last, like it's time to start getting serious about making sure that I am putting my best foot forward when it comes to making the clothes. So interfacing it is. So I've been interfacing them as it says, and I think I'm about to start like sewing pieces together finally, which is great. And I cannot wait. I'm just so excited about this pattern. I did a poll to see if you guys would rather see me sew the Oslo coat or the Lander pants by True Bias, because that's also very much in my queue. In fact, I have the fabric for it right here. It's like this dark red twill. I think this will make amazing Lander pants. So that's like kind of next in the queue after the Oslo coat is finished. But yeah, I've been loving putting this coat together. I had to cut out all the pieces yesterday, which took about like 4 hours. It was a lot of cutting, and I hate cutting because I'm like crawling around on my floor. I did get some messages from people asking if I was making a muslin, and I was like, come on, do you know me or not? Like, I know it's terrible. I'm not saying it's a good habit, but for me, and I know my mom is probably laughing at this right now, it will work out in the end. Like, it's an oversized garment for one, so it's meant to have lots of ease in it. It's not super fitted. And I measure the pattern pieces. I mean, I know there's like all these things that could go wrong with it, but I just like, it'll work out. It's gonna be fine. So no, I'm not making a muslin, and I am just cutting into this cashmere wool with reckless abandon, because I do this because I love it, not because it has to be perfect. My main motivation for making clothes is like, yes, I do think all of the perks about slow fashion industry and ethical purchasing and ethically sourced like labor, like I do think all of those things are extremely, extremely important, and things like that I follow and read about and care about when I make purchases. But it's not the number one factor for why I make clothes. I make clothes because I like crafting and I like making stuff. That's really, the long and short of it. So that's really it for my making content right now, but I do have a couple like very special acquisitions. I guess I'll talk about not this one because this is associated with a giveaway first, but the first one is a birthday present from my mom. I can't believe it took me this long to do it, but I finally have a walking foot. I cannot begin to tell you how excited I am, and it's a genuine Bernina one. We went on eBay to find one for my machine, which is a Bernina 1090. It takes the old style feet, and it comes with the guides. I don't really know how to use this yet. I guess I'll figure it out, but here's my new walking foot. I'm so excited. I can't wait to try this out. Everybody says it is life-changing. Like, some people never want to take it off of their machine and just sew with it all the time. So with rave reviews like that, I guess it was time to give it a go. I think I just didn't purchase it because when you have to purchase the Bernina feet for the old style machines, it's not an inexpensive purchase. So my mom was so amazing and got it for me for my birthday, but I just couldn't rationalize it before because I was quilting quilts before without it, and it was fine, you know, it worked out. So I'm very excited to kind of like, I don't want to say up my game, but have an opportunity to make things that look even better or are even easier to manage and wrangle now that I have the walking foot. So I'm excited, like really, really excited to give that a go. So thank you, Mom, for getting that for me. And then last but certainly not least, Bed of Roses. Have you guys heard of her Etsy shop? I know that a few people have talked about it on other podcasts, and for good reason. The things that she makes are absolutely stunning. She's known for, she makes project bags, but she's kind of known for this like knitting jewelry, if you will. Come closer. Focus. This knitting jewelry. And this one I love because it's kind of got like these witchy vibes to it, and it's customized with like stamps of a J on it for my name, and it's got this key and these lava beads and these crystals and bird feather. I'm obsessed. As soon as I saw Julie showing her Pippi Longstocking inspired one off that she got on her podcast, I followed Catherine immediately. By the way, she has a gorgeous Instagram feed, really, Bed of Roses. Look her up. It's amazing. I mean, just as beautiful as her products. And I just, you know, contacted her immediately and said, oh, I just found you through Julie, and I heard Carlene from the Made with Carlenergy podcast talking about you as well, and I just love everything that you make. And she offered for me to pick out something from her shop, which was incredibly generous, but not only that, sent something for you guys to do a giveaway. And giveaways, I have to say, are not something that I really do anymore just because I don't have the space to house things in this apartment. It's just like too small for that in New York. But for this, I made an exception just because I think her things are so beautiful, and she is sending you guys something. So I'm going to take it out of the package and show you. Don't worry, I'll keep the wrapping as nice as possible because it's different from mine. This little lavender sprig in there. I will say that these are more of a luxury item. So it's on a treat yourself day, you know, so whenever you're feeling spendy or some retail therapy or just kind of want something special for yourself, I just love too that they're customized and everything is usable. Like, it's all stitch markers. All of it. Sorry, I'm doing a bad job showing this. It's all stitch markers, so it's all usable knitting items. They all have the either lobster claw on the top or the jump ring for you to use in your knitting. I will never use this in my knitting. I'm just going to use it as a necklace, and I can't even tell you how many compliments I've already received on it. But yes, this is definitely more of a luxury purchase splurge, but so worth it. Here's the one that she sent for you guys. And it's on kind of the silver jewelry, whereas mine was more of the brass color, but silver jewelry, and it has, focus, these beautiful gemstones, a feather, this kind of black stone, a heart. It's just so pretty. So this is what's going to be up for grabs in a giveaway, and I'm going to do my giveaway on Instagram. So watch my space on Instagram to enter to win this amazing knitting necklace from Bed of Roses, and it's adjustable too, so you can make it shorter if you want to. So yes, watch Instagram for this giveaway. This is absolutely stunning. I can't even tell you how excited I am about mine. Like I said, I've gotten so many compliments on it. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to show you briefly is a cookbook. I know it's not like knitting or sewing related, but I occasionally show you things as I find them interesting. And I've been cooking from this cookbook called Jerusalem. If you are into Mediterranean food, definitely like give this a browse and see if it has recipes that you would find interesting and delicious, because I've been cooking from it non-stop lately and it's been so good. I made spicy harissa carrots, clementine and anise chicken, a lemon and artichoke chicken. I've just so many good recipes in here. I will say they do have like salads and veg stuff in it, but it's not the most vegetarian friendly cookbook. Like a lot of it is meat and poultry and seafood focused on here, so if you're a vegetarian, this may not be the best one for you, but the flavors in it are so good, so good. I'm actually half Lebanese, so a lot of the food in here just like kind of I don't want to say feels nostalgic, but it's like, I don't know, I love Mediterranean flavors. So Jerusalem, a really great cookbook, would definitely recommend it if you're into Mediterranean food. That's it for the episode today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, comment below with any questions, and I will see you in the next video.